Let me ask you something. Just get started. Who was the best rookie from 2022? If you feel like you had to choose one, I know the award has already been
No,
uh, been
it
decided and
was it was
stuff,
a, it
but
was a, it was actually one of the best races that we had.
yeah,
You really think about it, Scottie Barnes played phenomenally well. I know Cade Cunningham is here. I think Cade Cunningham's the best rookie from that class, probably this season at least, and maybe potentially overall. But I think Cade Cunningham was the guy. Once he got going, I know he missed a couple games, before the start of the season and stuff like that. But like he's special. Like he's all around game, pure shooter, pure jump shot. Like it's the talent is there. Detroit Pistons have a franchise caliber guy, franchise player for sure.
yeah. But now it's their job to build around them, or excuse me, build around Cade, because I feel like unfortunately Detroit is probably one of those cities and teams where they may have to either build through trades or the draft. It's tough free agent wise for certain players to go there, but I think they can. Like to your point too, Cade, kind of has a whole package in terms of being able to make everyone around him better. You know what I'm saying? But it's tough.
Who
I'll
who'd you
probably
go with? Yeah,
I would go
who'd
with
you go with?
Evan. I would go with Evan.
Evan Mobley.
Yeah. And it's interesting too. Like I'm always critical of like rookies that are good on good teams, right? Now, obviously, their situations is different. I think Evan is playing with a lot more talent than Cade was, but still, what I mean, like just the idea of being an important piece on a potential, playoff team, especially with the way the Cavs started out their season. Y'all know how I feel about winning, and the fact that Evan was a huge part. Now, obviously, when we talk about rookie of the year, what I'm saying, you take that with a grain of salt in terms of how you value winning, of course. Obviously, like I said, with Cade, the current team that he has constructed around him, it is what it is. But the future's looking bright for the league, though. The future's looking bright, man. I know they announced the all rookie first team. I'm looking at it now. We got Scottie. I mean, it's it's tough.
It's
I know.
tough. Yeah, it's tough.
It's
It's
tough. I
tough
know a lot of
looks.
people wanted someone on the first team.
Yes,
Josh.
you.
But
Yeah. Who's he better than? That's the
that's
question.
the $1 million question that no
I
one
think
ever likes to answer.
who's he better on that first team? And if you talk about Evan Mobley is like I said, I think he's the most talented player that got drafted out of that draft class for sure. Just like his ability of like defensively, probably gonna have ability to guard 1 through 5 someday in the NBA, and also just like his scoring ability. He can handle the ball, he can shoot and score from a variety of ways. He hasn't even touched his offense. His defense was what was like showcased the most with the Cleveland Cavaliers. But or you look at that, it was like Frank, who was that? Franz Wagner,
Yeah, Franz Wagner, Evan
Wagner.
Mobley, Jalen Green, Cade Cunningham, and Scottie Barnes. That's
Yeah,
tough.
that's tough. That's like let's be real. Like Josh Giddey is a great traditional point guard who's seen a lot of minutes because OKC is tanking, and he's a good solid player. Like he's gonna be a Ricky Rubio type of player in this league. Hopefully, maybe he's better than Ricky Rubio. If everything goes right, potentially maybe. But like that first team is serious. Like I don't look at the guard position. Are you taking him? Who are you taking him? Are you taking Josh Giddey over Cade Cunningham? No.
JG was the one that a lot of you know people were saying like it should be a toss up. But again, like the thing is with these all rookie first teams, you're judging based off the current season, what happened over these
Yeah.
82, not the potential. Right? We're not even
True.
talking about who you would draft or who you would have over the next decade or whatever. It's more of like, okay, who had the better rookie year? And to me, that doesn't mean that, if a guy isn't on the first team for rookies, that doesn't mean that he's not going to be a top 5 player of his class. But it just gives you something to think about. Obviously,
I,
JG being the fan favorite, but Josh hooped.
I mean, he's Josh definitely hooped. But I mean, Jalen Green was hooping too. Like I think people
These are
got caught
facts.
up caught up in somebody tweeting what he said about Green, and part of that was because a certain audience likes a certain player more. And I'm not going to get really into that, but like Jalen Green was a problem. Like Jalen Green had like phenomenal moments. Like Jalen Green join a list of rookies of Allen Iverson when he went 4 straight games of 30+ points or more. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did that his rookie season. Like, people don't want to talk about it, but it's because they like to say, "Oh, the Houston Rockets were trash. Somebody had to score." But like, the OKC was trash. Somebody had to rebound and assist and pass. It's the same thing, and it's not like, let's
it's
really
funny,
talk
we're
about
arguing
it.
two teams that are cans.
So
But that's the fun part about rookie debates. It's like you end up arguing, obviously players, but teams like, okay, both of them aren't really winning. So
contribute to the success of winning.
I was gonna say, but I mean, hey, it's fun to watch. I mean, if you're a big league pass guy and understand, like, hey, you're not watching these games for one team to win. You're watching them to see, like, all right, who's got a better player? You're watching those games off potential, right? You're watching those games to see, like, okay, what's the next line of stars looking like?
Exactly. Like I said, Jalen Green, the guy he joined when he scored 4 consecutive 30-point performances, the guy that he joined as a rookie on that list is Allen Iverson. So that's pretty impressive. Like, when we start looking at things like efficiency and like his shooting, I think he only shot like 37% from the field and stuff like that. Of course, that's things that are going to improve on the course of his career. But it's just kind of like the potential and the talent is there. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Give me a guy that can put the ball in the hoop over a guy that's a traditional guard. You know what I'm saying? That's, to be honest, traditional guards in the year 2022 is very uncommon because they're very kind of like obsolete. So it's not saying they're not valuable, but it's just kind of like, from a guard standpoint, when we talk about the best guards in the NBA and, the point guard era that we were kind of in, as guys that can put the ball in the hoop, and as guys that can do both, really, like you look at Russell Westbrook in times, and like, Steph Curry can pass, stuff like that. But you really got to put the ball in the hoop. At least Jalen Green, we've seen already this rookie year that the brother can put the ball in the hoop. I'll take that over a low triple-double any day.
A low triple-double is kind of shade, but I understand. Just 10. Hey, a triple-double is tripped up.
Yeah.
10, whatever, it's still tripped up.
Yeah, but let's be real. Like, Russell Westbrook made the triple-double real. Like, all that, like, 10, 12, 15 points, triple-doubles, like, okay, that's cute or whatever. But, Russell Westbrook was getting like 30, 15, like, Russ really showed
how easy it was, you're saying?
No, he gave the triple-double a little bit more meaning. Like, before, it was kind of like,
I don't know.
Before,
I think it was the exact opposite, to be honest. I think like when people were getting triple double, people were like, oh my goodness, he had a triple double. But when Russ started to like get it all the time and literally average it, it's like, okay.
I definitely give it that. I'm talking about like the numbers he was getting a triple double. Most times in the past, like when people were getting triple doubles, like Jason Kidd, like 12, 10, and 10. You know what I'm saying? Ray John Rondo.
Tiptoeing.
Ray John Rondo, 16, 12, and 10. You know what I'm saying? That's cool, but like that's Josh Giddey. That's going to be his career. Like, he's going to get those low-end triple-doubles. He's not going to do what a James Harden, come the first player in NBA history, get a 60-point triple-double performance. He's not going to do what Russell Westbrook was doing, or Luka Doncic. Like, Luka be getting sometimes 35, 12, and 10. Like, that's tough. That's really when you start seeing impact. That's what I'm saying. Josh Giddey, great player, probably be a starter to rotational player, for his career. I don't see him being like I don't know what's going to happen, but just this is me basing on, what I'm seeing.
But I'm with you. But I mean, you mentioned two names though, like James Harden and Luka and Russ in comparison to Josh's triple doubles, which is tough to do.
That's true.
But then what's a good comparison for Jalen? Not necessarily his playing style, but like if we're gonna compare Josh's triple doubles to those three guys, what should Jalen's like scoring be compared to? Maybe not like a Book or I like who's really snapping for like 40 games. It's different. I feel like it's a lot different.
It's different. It's different because like Jalen Green's a shooting guard, so it's just kind of like we got shooting guards like Bradley Beal, who 1 minute is starting the All-Star game, the next minute is not making the All-Star roster the following year, because it's that it's that guard position is so dynamic and so talented. Like, look at Jalen Green. Jalen Green's a shooting guard. Like, Jalen Green is a stud, a monster. But it's just like that guard position. When we talk about guards, like, it's very, very tough. So, I think those two are the best examples. Like, guys that can possibly make the All-Star game someday. like I feel like a Jalen Green, and put up that type of production, that's what I would kind of compare Jalen Green's probably like possible, like, promise and like future probably would be like a, if he's lucky, like a Bradley Beal or like a, you know, my boy Brown, Jalen Brown from
Yeah.
the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, and one thing with Jalen, I'm happy that he's getting the keys. Like a lot of I feel like rookie struggles because even though you want them to learn and all that stuff, at the same time, experience is the best teacher. So the fact that he's being thrown out there and having to experience the ups and downs of the season, I think that's going to pay off later on in the line for him. Like just the idea of being the number one option on the team, the idea of having the responsibilities, because it's okay to go through the rough patches now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody sitting here saying like, all right, you guys got to make the playoffs, or you guys got to win a championship. But obviously, eventually, that time is going to happen. And when it does, I think it's going to be these tough moments that'll, properly prepare for them.
The same thing is for Josh Giddey. Like, I feel like all rookies should want to go to play at OKC. I feel like you should be telling your agent to get me to OKC because you're going to play there. You're going to get a chance to grow. You're going to get a chance to struggle. You're going to get a chance to lose, of course. But you're gonna actually get a chance to play. It's no
of course,
better.
It's kind of crazy.
It's no better situation than being as a rookie where you get to actually develop on the court. You know what I'm saying? Like we've seen legends like Kobe. Kobe kind of had to wait. You know what I'm saying? Like even though Kobe was phenomenal and successful, but it's just like I'd rather be in a spot as a rookie where I get to develop on the court and not have to like fight for like 10 minutes here and stuff like that because you got vets and stuff like that. Especially if your team is like a borderline like playoff team. Like teams like the New York Knicks do that. Like they don't want to get the keys to their young talent because they want to fight for a playoff like roster where it's just like kind of like, oh, you probably should like develop your young guys, year round instead of like trying to compete for like an AC. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm a young rookie, I'm telling my agent, give me the OKC.
Well, I mean, I know what you mean. You probably like the team aspect of OKC because, just the idea of like you're going to get more opportunities and things like that. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, because sometimes it is good to wait because also we've seen guys peak too early, right? We've seen like players, have great rookie and first couple of seasons then just tail off. But, yeah, I mean, I get it, though. Get the experience. The wins at that point in your career.
Also,
that's another point too. I think you mentioned this before. I want to say with like Deandre Aydin and guys like Luka, get your numbers first, right? That way, when that contract comes around, the bag has been secured, and then all right, let's make some sacrifices. Let's try and win a ball game. Yeah, maybe. If I'm up to it, let's sign my name on some paperwork first, and then okay, let's care about winning.
Yeah, but first 7 years, get your stats. That's what I always.
7 is crazy. 7 is crazy. seven is crazy.
Once you sign your second contract,
right. Yeah, so after I would say, after your junior year, right after your third year in the league, it's like okay, you're probably gonna walk into getting that nice little deal.
Now we'll say
like make that shift.
Now we'll say this: the only problem about like what I want, like go to a bad team, get your stats and get your money. The only problem is that's when we start seeing like the narrative that people start because they don't actually watch the games. But for the people that do watch the games, we can look at a situation with Devin Booker and Zach Levine like, no, these guys are studs. They just need a team around them. But other people are going to be like, well, Devin Booker is averaging this and that. He's averaging 25 and 5, but his team is losing. He's not really that good. That's what they were saying about Devin Booker. They were saying the same thing about Zach Levine. So don't be surprised in a couple of years if Jalen Green's averaging like 20, 22, 23, 4 points, and then people are going to start, he's on a losing team and stuff like that. That's the only bad thing about getting drafted to a poor team and putting up crazy stats compared to a situation like Evan Mobley or Scottie Barnes where you're on a decent team where like you're contributing and stuff like that. So
a couple of things. One, another name I would throw in there is Trae Young, right? Just the idea of like, okay, he didn't have a great team, whatever, but he's still. But what though, in those examples, I think that's a good thing, right? I think that's low key needed because then when you make it, right, the energy and the narrative shift. And so my thing is, if you're really that good, especially if you get drafted that high, there's a reason you got drafted that high. At some point, right, it might not happen your rookie, your sophomore, even junior, but at some point, questions will have to be asked. Now, I think Devin and Trae it happened to them a little too early because, they were young and stuff like that. But eventually you spend, was Zach too?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, Zach too. But I mean, he also had Zach played with a number 1 overall pick. So 2 of them. But I mean, just the idea of like, if you're going to get drafted that high, that's with the intent of you being somewhat of a franchise changer, right? Not everyone may be, a LeBron or a Luka or AD, whatever, but like there are some expectations with being drafted that high. In whatever year frame people have in terms of like, okay, this is the year where we start making some real judgments, because it's very similar to like the Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown thing, like early on we say, they were babies, they were kids, they were teenagers for crying out loud. But then after a while it shifts into like, okay, we view you in a different light now, so you got to produce. It sucks, but that's the territory, you put yourself in. But
yeah, for all my OKC fans, I will say that like Josh Giddey played phenomenal. He had a great rookie season. But if you were watching OKC games, it's crazy that I do watch OKC games. I don't know why, but I guess that's a fan of being, fan of the sport. I don't even think Josh Giddey the best rookie on their team this year. Trey Mann is phenomenal. Like, he's special. Like, this brother, we talk about a guy that can put the ball in the hoop, that can score in a variety of ways. People are going to talk about Josh Giddey, team-wise, like rebounding, assists, and stuff like that. That's cool and dandy. But, like, Trey Mann, like, he has, like Simons up in Portland, like the Portland Trailblazers. That's who he reminds me of. Like, this brother can get busy. All he needs is the minutes. All he needs is the opportunity. Once he got it, I was saying, like, yo, it's there. Like, the talent is there. So that's what I would say about the whole, like, Josh Giddey should be on the first team. Like, just be thankful he's on the second team, because, like, a legitimate argument can be made that he's probably not even the best rookie on his team.
That's tough. But, I mean, it's a good problem to have if you're OKC. Especially considering they have, like, 3,000 draft picks. So, I mean, like, when you talk about the youth behind it, it's like, okay, you got a bunch of, or a good amount of young players that can produce. It doesn't have to just be, all right, one guy is, the clear-cut superstar.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But that's how a lot of teams are kind of built.
Trey Mann almost had a 40-piece this year. So, it's serious. They're like, they're out to get like 35, 75 one game. Like, he's tough.
Nasty work.
He's tough.
But speaking of nasty work, what the hell happened to the Dallas Mavericks? Are you surprised? Like, how long do you think this series is going to go between the Mavs and the Warriors?
5.
Like, do you think 5? Yeah, I think it's curtains too.
5, I think 6. I mean, maybe 6 if Luka goes crazy a couple. But it's just like it's disappointing, really, because like I really wanted to see the Suns versus the Warriors. They just dropped the ball, really. Sadly.
Yeah. And I mean, we reached
the ball.
Yeah.
It's like we reached the point where it's just like Golden State Warriors are going to the finals. Like, I don't really have to unless Luka just turns into LeBron James athletically, which is not going to happen overnight. I don't even know
why you just said.
I'm just saying. I don't think it's like. I said that because like in 2015, like the Warriors found a way. Like, Kyrie was out, Kevin Love was out, and they went up against a peak LeBron James in the finals, and they still won. I don't think they're going to have any trouble with Luka Doncic, who's a LeBron James disciple, just without the athleticism. Like, I don't think they're going to really have any problem. And then you got Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole. Like, they're better. This is 2015, but better because he got Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole. I think it's curtains. Nice story, though.
Yeah, but I say, gentleman sweep, nothing wrong with that. Get them out in 5. I mean, I agree. That's the perfect number. I do think Dallas is going to get a game though off the strength. I will give Luka that. I don't see them getting swept. But even though like people say like they didn't think that they could beat the Suns or even the Jazz, the Warriors are proven, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt of that. They've won together. We saw what they did in Game 1. Steph is really like that, like for real. And I think the talks of him, continuing to be at the table, I guess, for best player in the world are going to heat up more and more.
It's going to get hot. Stove is hot.
Yeah, it is. But I don't know if it was you that asked me this, and we talked about this on the show, but whether or not Steph goes out and wins Finals MVP, in the finals. Did we talk about that? Did we mention that at all?
I think we talked about a little bit of that.
Like, I mean, just the idea of like, if a certain player catches fire, whether it be Jordan Poole or Klay Thompson, and they win Finals MVP, not necessarily what happens, because at the end of the day, that's still, bro's fourth chip. Like that's it's kind of crazy. But it's the idea of but again, at the same time, Steph could spaz, right? Steph could, go off and average 30, 35. So, but yeah, in terms of this series, it's quiet.
Warriors,
it's quiet.
I just hope the second best player coming off the bench to me. I just hope that don't be their downfall when it comes to the NBA Finals. That's my only thing. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Miami is deep. Miami, has some pieces, and I mean obviously Boston too. But I mean, as of right now, because
that series may go. That series, I don't know. I picked Miami to go to the finals before the playoffs started, also before the season started. Ironically, I was like the Nets or Miami, but I fell in love with KD.
Got one of them right. Got one of them right.
Of course,
it's all good.
But yeah, I think that series is, shout out to Luka. He.
You talking about the Warriors series? I was about to say, yeah. I mean, I think.
Oh, you talking about
the other
series?
The Mavs series on the East Coast. I think that's a toss up.
You mean the Boston Celtics in Miami? Yeah. That's a toss up.
Boston Celtics in Miami. I think that could go 6. Either way, honestly.
Yeah.
If Miami takes a 2-0 lead, I can see Boston winning 4 straight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And at the same time, I could see Miami taking care of business and winning Game 6 on the road in Boston. So, we saw
it go either way.
They did to Philly. Oh my goodness gracious! So, it's a good series though. I mean, you got a team full of dogs, and a shout out to the Celtics too. Obviously dealing with a lot of injuries and guys being out, but still battling. But Miami is real, and Jimmy Butler's real, bro. Like come playoff time, people say what they want about Jimmy, but come playoff time, he's here. Yeah. He's here. Like he's two-way. He's here. Yeah. And shout out to PJ Tucker too, who, just the idea of knowing his role, right? Sticking to it, sticking to the system, sticking to the game plan, and just doing what you got to do. Like you watch those games, it's NBA champ, and he could do it again back to back. So
yeah, I think
it's a series.
It's like Miami, and that's what I was telling people last year about. We had a conversation last podcast talking about the whole 2020 NBA bubble compared to the 21 COVID championships and stuff like that. If you're going to put an asterisk on one, you can put an asterisk on another. And then people are talking about why does Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat look so different compared to last year? Because Jimmy Butler was struggling, but it was just that quick turnaround. The Lakers and the Heat had the fastest turnaround for the regular season and stuff like that. Then with injuries, Jimmy was hurt a lot. And then with COVID, this team was totally different. So that now we're seeing a healthy Jimmy, a healthy Miami Heat roster and team overall. And it's just kind of it's nice to see. And we're getting to witness Jimmy Butler show once again, he's a playoff elevator. He elevates his game in the playoffs. It's as simple as that. This guy, regular season is cool and stuff like that, but come playoff time, he's here. He goes from a star to a superstar in the playoffs. So that's what you like to see for your best players. Same as LeBron James elevates his game. Same just like a Kawhi Leonard elevates his game. Same as a Kevin Durant elevates his game. Jimmy Butler as well elevates his game when the postseason comes.
It's tough for me to agree with that statement completely. Only because I think the gap between regular season Jimmy and playoff Jimmy is very large in comparison to those other guys. So obviously, I think all of them elevate their games as well. I agree on that end. But the way Jimmy does it, it's and it's not, Jimmy doesn't coast in the regular season. I won't say that. But it's playoff Jimmy is just so different than regular season.
He misses a lot of games in a regular season. And it's just kind of he plays on a team that can make up for a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Stephen Curry plays on a team that can make up for a lot of stuff. Steph is phenomenal, but if Steph really wanted to chill with this team that he's on, and we kind of see, to be honest, no disrespect, and I mean this in as respectful as way possible, but Jordan Poole probably been their best player so far in the postseason. Steph has been there, but it's just kind of hasn't been automatically Steph. You get what I'm saying? Well, you on a good team, a great team, you can afford to kind of not necessarily, I don't want to keep saying coast, but it's just kind of it's other players that can step up during the regular season where it's just kind of can take off the stress and the pressure. So when we get to the playoffs, though, you remind people like, yo, they are paying me the max for a reason. And that's what Jimmy Butler does.
Right,
that's what Jimmy Butler does. Like
don't get it twisted. But you know what, though?
That's convenient. Paying me the max for the reason.
For a reason.
Yeah.
There's another player that,
convenient.
Yeah, I mean, it's convenient, too, because not all players are able to do that.
That's why
not all players have that luxury of, all right, I could give it light 24, if I feel like it today. You know what I'm saying? But some players have to, shit.
Get 30,
again?
30, get 30 in year 19 just to try to compete.
Sorry, Bron. I'm here for you, King.
So it's tough, but if you're in a great team situation, Trae Young, if you're in a great team situation, that's what we're seeing right now. The Dallas Mavericks have played well, but it's just kind of they overachieve. I'm not saying the series is over or anything, but I'm just being honest. Luka Doncic doesn't have a co-star. Jalen Brunson has been phenomenal. He's played really well, but he's a starter in this league. As soon as the Dallas Mavericks get a co-star with Luka Doncic, watch the hell out, because then it gets really scary. So
they had one in KP, but
things ain't not. Yeah,
I was joking.
Yeah, things ain't. KP's always hurt. We got one prime KP year, and I was kind of in a bubble and stuff like that when everybody was healthy. Ironically,
Knicks fans are still cheering.
So
that's so crazy. That's so crazy.
He could be a right on the right team. He can be a third option on the right team.
KP.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they needed him to be a second option. If the Dallas Mavericks had, a Drew Holiday type of player and then KP, then you would have saw his value really, our thought process and analysis on KP would be totally different compared to seeing him as a second option, But I think he's a good number 3, number 4. Look at DeAndre Aydin. DeAndre Aydin won a max, and he is a third option.
But I mean, he's also playing with 2 Hall of Famers. So, but I mean, It also depends on who the other 2 are ahead of you, right? So, if you're a third option, Chris Bosh was a third option. You know what I'm saying? But so I think it all depends on who it is that's in front of you versus how we, tend to evaluate a specific player as a third option.
DeAndre Aydin shouldn't be no third option after.
I mean, with that team, are you saying he should be higher or lower? Or
he should be the second option after Devin Booker. I don't think Chris Paul should be the second option. That's a problem. That's the reason why they.
That's different.
But
you know, though, I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah, for real, though.
I'm glad you asked. So it leads me to my cap or no cap. So cap or no cap? If Luka and Devin Booker switch teams, the Dallas Mavericks would be in the Western Conference Finals right now.
I'm gonna say
with the current roster, everything is the exact same.
That's easy. I'm gonna say cap, because I look at that roster. That roster is tailor made for Luka Doncic because he's a do everything type of forward. So I don't think Devin Booker he's a shooting guard. I don't think he can facilitate, rebound, run the show the way Luka Doncic can run the show with the Dallas Mavericks. They play 2 different types of play styles. Luka can do more with less than Devin Booker, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the truth. That's the truth. Luka Doncic can do more with less. It's certain guys that you can say, get on my back, I'm gonna lead you. That's Luka. That's guys like Giannis. That's guys like LeBron. So there's no shade to Devin Booker, but
right. No.
Man, Devin Booker's phenomenal. He's a scorer, but saying he can probably take that team to that Dallas Mavericks team, if you swap the 2 to the Western Conference Finals, I don't think so.
How do you think? Because I like the backcourt of Devin and Jalen. I do, especially IQ wise, not just skill wise, but IQ wise. But how do you think, right, Luka and Chris Paul will play together? Because to your point, right, if Devin Booker is a scorer, the idea of allowing Chris to be the facilitator, right? So I think that's a good thing. But then if you got Luka, who's ball dominant, and Chris Paul, who's ball dominant, does that sway you at all?
I think it would. No, I think it would. No, I think if that happened, if Luka Doncic was on the Phoenix Suns, I think they would struggle to get to the Western Conference Finals as well too. The reason why, because I said play style, like you said, Luka Doncic and Chris Paul are both very ball dominant. So it's just kind of like somebody got to get the ball up. Now, to Chris Paul's credit, he's played with James Harden, a very ball dominant player, and they were an injury away, I believe, to actually probably get into the NBA Finals against a dynasty. So I think Chris Paul would be more likely to adjust. My thing is, will Luka Doncic be more likely to adjust? Because sometimes we see Luka right now with Jalen Brunson, like Jalen Brunson plays better when Luka Doncic is off the floor. You know what I'm saying? Because he has that ball in his hands a little bit more, and he can do a little bit more things. So it's tough. It's like the LeBron. It's like Luka. I know I keep saying Luka is a LeBron James disciple, but it really is true, bro. Because the same things they have said historically about LeBron James, like playing off ball and doing this and stuff like that, giving that ball up, like LeBron James does, but it's still like he can, but it's just like he's so dynamic having the ball and running the show. It's just like you want the ball in his hands. And that's what I said about like Luka Doncic. He needs we've been saying it, we said it before the season started, we've been saying it for a while. Like Luka needs another like scorer, like a shot creator that can take less of the scoring responsibility. That other player can play the off ball. Luka can still run the show, but like the scoring responsibility, like, yo, here, go get 15 in a row. You know, go get 10 in a row. Similar to like LeBron with Kyrie.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say too, shout out to D Wade, because and the only reason why I say this is because I think it's very challenging for players to shift their entire playing styles when you have a player like Bron or Luka that's on your team. Like obviously greatness is greatness, talent is talent. But to be able to make that adjustment speaks a lot to guys like, you know, D Wade. And I mean, Kyrie, I feel like it was a little bit different just because like, you know, playing style slightly different than Dwayne's. But that's not easy to do. You know, that's not easy to do. Some guys fail at it.
But they were natural. But I think it was, I would say it's not easy to do, but also I would say it was kind of easy because I feel like they were naturally like scorers. And he naturally played the off-ball position. Like Kyrie Irving, as great as he is, like, I love Kyrie, but like, I want Kyrie with scoring the ball. I don't want Kyrie really necessarily facilitating and running the show. Like that's just the truth. Same with Dwayne Wade. Like Dwayne Wade was a combo guard. He can play the point guard position, but you want Dwayne Wade like playing an off ball spot, scoring the ball. So that was smart of LeBron. Like the only time like I've ever seen LeBron James really win a championship without that kind of like setup was with Anthony Davis, which is why I was kind of like a little shocked. You know, they were 2 top 5 players when they played in the 2020 NBA season and stuff like that. I feel like both LeBron James and Anthony Davis were 2 top 5 players and stuff. So it was easy to kind of like, them to go out and win and dominate. But that was kind of like the first time that I've seen in LeBron James' career, like he didn't have like this legitimate like shot creator and scorer, partner in crime like he has had in the past.
Yeah. Like to your point too with Luka, it's like just a guy that's like, okay, let me take this possession off. You go ahead and snap, But I mean, I think with Luka, because he's so young, and to your point too, get the stats while you're young. I think that's what makes it a little bit different. Like as LeBron's career progressed, it was like, okay, it would be nice to have someone else that can do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like those Cleveland days, everyone was in awe. It was amazing to see, but I know he had to have been like the first Cleveland go around. I know there had to been days where it was like, shit. Yeah. I know y'all see me out here.
I got a question.
I know, like, please, what's up?
Before we get out of here, do the Dallas Mavericks pay Jalen Brunson?
Oh, it's too late now. They should have. They should have.
No. Do they pay him like going into this off season, or do they let him walk? That's a lot of numbers.
It's a lot of money. I know it's a numbers
5'11"
game.
guard.
Yeah, and then also too, by you doing that, you're pretty much admitting that he's your second best player moving forward for the future, paramount with Luka. And then now you're tied up. Like, who do you grab as the third? Because and I'm getting ready to answer your question in a second. But like, because that like those two, I hate to say it, if those are your 2 best players, you may not be winning a championship.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't let them walk.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Because you're not taking a discount. You let him, oh shit. I say you let him walk. I say you let him walk.
You let him walk.
You let him walk. It's unfortunate, but you let him walk. You zoom out. and see the bigger picture. It's definitely gonna suck. It's definitely gonna sting. It's not gonna it's not an easy decision. But if you have, one of the better players in the entire world on the planet, you realize okay, we're trying to win a chip, not just compete, not just make the playoffs. And I mean, hey, they are 4 wins away from the finals, so it's not saying they're bad or anything. But at the same time, it's again, zoom out and just really think to yourself: could a team led by Jalen and Luka win the whole thing? Maybe they can, but I think that is a risk. But look, at the end of the day, I want Jalen to get his money wherever the hell he goes. That's for damn sure. I want him to get paid wherever.
Yeah, if he can get a 4-year, $80 million deal, then you probably want to get that done. I think it's going up to 4-year, $100 million maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say we still got some basketball to play.
Yeah, that's what
we still got some basketball to play.
That's why you probably let him walk. But also for Luka's sake, don't go out and be stupid and go out and try to Rudy Gobert has been mentioned possibly on the trading. He's going to be on the trading block, maybe him or Donovan Mitchell. Don't be stupid and go out and say we want to trade for Rudy Gobert. Defensively, great, yeah, but don't be stupid and talk about trade for Rudy Gobert and then it's not going to be a Kobe and Shaq thing. It's not. It's going to be a Luka Doncic and still damn
Luka Doncic.
What the hell is going on? But I will say, Zach LaVine and Luka Doncic and Zach LaVine gets a ring. If they can go out and get Zach LaVine, who's an unrestricted free agent, you get him a pure shot creator that can play off ball, they'll get a championship. Another player that's available, I don't know, this player is on my Dame level territory of his indecisiveness, but Bradley Beal is also unrestricted free agent as well. So it's just you let Jalen Brunson walk and you go out and you try to recruit the hell out of Zach LaVine and you try to recruit the hell out of Bradley Beal, more so Zach LaVine, because I told you, all them years of backlash, players don't forget. The Bulls went to the playoffs this year, but Zach LaVine's exit interview and his response on things lets me know that he has not forgotten all that years of backlash. And just because one little successful playoff, they went to the playoffs, right? Yeah, clap it up. That doesn't change how players have to feel and deal with all the scrutiny over years and years. People remember stuff. So that's why fans and media, you better be careful sometimes because it's a legitimate thing about Zach LaVine walking.
Everybody be petty, man. But hey, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
If you want to walk, slide. At the end of the day, it's still his decision. This isn't the team that drafted him. I mean, but at the same time, wherever you go, just know either grass ain't always greener / if you do leave, just be prepared for even more criticism and hopefully you get some dubs. But yeah, y'all, you already know the vibes. A couple housekeeping items before we slide. 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. Show love on YouTube. You already know. Hit that subscribe button. Smash that like button. All right.
Crazy on YouTube lately.
Facts. You already know what it is. And just like that, y'all, we gone. Peace.
It's your boy, AK Smith, also known as AK. Make sure you guys go follow No Pump Fakes wherever you get your podcasts.